Harmeet Dhillon has followed all of this closely from the inside. She's the founder of the Dhillon Law Group. Harmeet, thanks so much for coming on tonight. So let's start with a specific question germane to the race in which Donald Trump is engaged. He's the front runner by 30 points. You have seen cases, politicized cases, as with Roger Stone, in which the person charged is gagged by the judge and not allowed to speak about the charges. This is increasingly common in violation of the First Amendment, obviously, but it happens. If this happens to Donald Trump, he will lose his free speech rights as a candidate in a presidential race. And I'm just wondering if you think that could potentially happen.
Well, it very much could happen. In fact, we've seen it talked about on television already. And in fact, the president has been subject to former president subject to similar allegations in other litigation that he's involved in, also way beyond the statute of limitations. The story is that because he says mean things about people sometimes on his free speech platforms, that he should not be allowed to speak about a fundamental issue of due process that governs the future of our country and how we look at justice and how we look at the politicization of this political process. And so that would be a gross miscarriage of justice if it occurs, and I would not be surprised to see this politicized prosecutor make that request of this judge.
I honestly think it's impossible to imagine greater election interference, a greater or more aggressive attack on our democracy than gagging a presidential candidate in a presidential year. I mean, Vladimir Putin has never dreamed of any attack on the United States more damaging than that. Would anyone be able to stop it?
Well, certainly the lawyers in this case will argue against that, and it may be the kind of issue that they seek an immediate appeal on if they lose. But at the end of the day, if a court sets those rules, then, a litigant has to abide by them or be in contempt of court. And, that itself would be a very dangerous course to pursue. And so,
yes,
no matter which way you cut it, this entire case, from its inception to its continuation to its now being brought to fruition, what we hear from the New York Times, not from anything that the DA's office has told the defense team, is that there are 30-plus charges. We don't know what they are. The New York Times knows what they are. And so this is not the way that justice is meant to go in the United States. And what I'm afraid of, Tucker, is that this isn't just going to be about Donald Trump. It's going to undermine all citizens' confidence in the rule of law in this country. And that is really tragic.
Yeah, it is. And it has far-reaching and lasting generational consequences that I don't think anyone's thought through. Harmeet Dhillon, I appreciate your wise and measured perspective, as always. Thank you. Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube channel to catch our nightly opens, stories that are changing the world and changing your life. From Tucker Carlson Tonight.